Well, it's officially happened. Donald Trump has been inaugurated and sworn in as the 47th president. So, what does that mean for us going forward? Does he have some good things that he's doing? And are there some things to be concerned about? Well, I guess to find out, you're going to have to watch this video. Let's get into it. Welcome to Certainty for Uncertain Times. My name is Lauren, and the entire goal behind this channel is to help you navigate through the chaos, the clown world, and the dumpster fire that we all find ourselves living in these days through the lens of the Bible, but also while connecting the most crucial dots to Bible prophecy, because here's the thing, it is happening in and around you, whether you believe it or not. Now, if you're looking to dive a whole lot deeper into the Bible's prophetic puzzle pieces, then guess what? You are so in the right place, and I'm going to ask that you would subscribe to this channel. You would hit that notification bell, and hey, you know what? Go ahead and give this video a share because it helps me get seen, and I'm not super popular with all the tech overlords, so truthfully, every share does matter. And with all that said, let's dive into the topic today. I had a lot of people reaching out to me via my email and, of course, direct messaging, all the places, asking me, Lauren, what are your thoughts on what's going on now that Donald J. Trump is officially inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States of America? And I thought, you know what, by the time this video goes out, there's probably going to be way more, like 1,000,001 things that have happened since this video is being recorded. It's Wednesday. But I thought I would go ahead and just give you guys just some insight into where I'm at right now. I think that there's some really good things that I can say, just taking off my eschatology hat, taking off my tinfoil hat, taking off my theology hat. As just an American, a conservative American, a small business owner American, when I'm coming from that lens, there's some things that I really hope he is super successful with, and I'm very excited about in the short term. And I do want to share those things with you guys today. And then I also have some things that are pretty concerning. And I think that, the big thing I want to give to you guys before we even dive into this is most of y'all haven't known me my entire life, but here's what I can tell you. Anybody who has known me since I was 15, 16 years old, probably even younger than that, I've always been a person to plant her flag in the ground. I was raised in a home with biblical beliefs. My dad listened to Rush Limbaugh. My dad had Fox News and all the talk radio stations on all the time. So I grew up very inundated in the political world. None of this stuff that is going on politically is lost on me. I made the joke on here many, many times, but before waking up to all the things that I now know, that the world is not what I thought it was, you cut me open and I would bleed red, white, and blue. That's what I have come from. And I was the type of person that, I have no problem talking about my belief systems, and people want to challenge that, and I'll go toe to toe with them any day. That's what I come out of. There's many times in my life I've been asked to run for office locally. I never did it, thought about it many times, prayed about it, but just never felt like the right way to go. Have had a lot going on in my life. Just being a small business owner has taken up most of my life with my husband for many years. And so in saying that, I just want you guys to know who are coming here, and you're on the Trump train and you're so excited about everything that he is doing. I just want you to know I'm not a Trump hater. If you set aside all the things that, I focus on this channel all the time, when we're just looking at this as strictly political, I think he's probably one of the best political leaders of our time. I don't care that he's had mean tweets. I don't care that he doesn't always, use the best, diplomatic language for people. None of that bothers me. I actually like the fact that he's pretty unfiltered and you kind of don't know what he's going to say. I came from the realm of just feeling like, if we're going to have a political leader, I don't want them to be timid. I want them to be somebody that, is kind of has a backbone. And I feel like he has those things. And there's lots of things in his first term that I really appreciated that he did and was so on board with as an American. And I'm sure there's going to be things that we're going to talk about today, a few of them that in the short term, I am excited about some of these things, especially just coming from the lens that I've come from in the last several years and how much struggle that we have personally faced with the economy that we've been in. Whether I think it's intentional or not, doesn't matter. The struggle still has been there. So I wanted to mention that today because I know that so many times you guys see me talking about all of the things that are leading and culminating to the beast system. I think it can get lost out there that, somehow I just some people might even think I'm a liberal because I'm not, I can pick apart Trump. I'm definitely not at all. But some people might just think that I just don't, I just can't find any good there. And that's just definitely not the case. So I want to talk about a few things that I am really excited about today. And I think, again, if we put a pin in all the things that I know, right, and I compartmentalize all the things that I know, then I think that we can find some common ground here that we can be excited about. So that's what I wanted to share before we get started. And with that said, let's pull up up all of these notes that I have, and let me proverbially take off my tinfoil hat, setting it down, my eschatology hat, setting it down, and my theology hat. We're going to set that down. We're going to talk about just things that I feel like if you don't know anything about what is going on and you were just an American citizen, you're somebody who's been really upset about how things have gone the last 4 years, you've had a hard time, maybe your business has nearly collapsed like ours has over the last 4 years and you're having to rebuild from scratch and it's been the scariest time of your life, totally get where you're at. And these are some of the things that I feel like are really good for us. Also, too, is somebody who doesn't want to see the global system come about. The first thing I want to mention is that in his first part of his executive orders that he signed on Monday afternoon, he left the World Health Organization. I'm telling you what, I have never applauded louder. I can't stand that organization, and I am super glad that we are out of that organization again. Those of us who, stood up with megaphones and blow torches and everything else we needed to do in 2020 to get people's attention, we're cheering as loud as we possibly can. I never want to go through another moment in time like what we went through in 2020 and having to just feel like every day was just suiting up to be on the battleground to fight this agenda, right? So I was really excited about that particular thing. That was something for me that, I'm very happy to see, especially with all of the things that have happened over the last couple years and America giving up, well, we didn't give it up, but our leaders giving up our sovereignty. All of those things really matter. I don't want anyone else in control of, what they feel like they can pass down on us to make us obey, right? So I was very excited about that. So let's talk about a couple of other things. Economically, there are some amazing things. I do feel like there's going to be this comeback in America as far as for people from an economic standpoint. I know there are people who disagree with that, and that's okay. Time will tell. But I am excited about some of those things. And again, just owning the fact that, we have fought tooth and nail the last 4 years just to stay in business, to stay afloat. This is why I have a second job right now. So many things have been so difficult. And I know that I'm not the only one who has, had trouble, like just sitting down to figure out how you're going to put groceries on the table. Those have been real conversations in our house for the last 4 years. And I know that's not lost on a lot of people because it's been a lot of people's conversation. So one of the things that I was really excited to hear him talk about in his inauguration speech was lowering the cost of living. Lance and I were discussing this and just thinking about the fact that, if we saved 20% on groceries every week, that's a huge amount of change back in our pocket, right? Gas, same thing. I will tell you this much. When Lance and I moved back from Florida to Missouri at the end of 2020, so it was actually Thanksgiving weekend of 2020, y'all, gas was $1.41 on the quick trip at the corner of my house, okay? I will never forget driving up and seeing that and going, wow, this is about to change, because obviously the shenanigans had already gone down and all the things, right? But that's what gas was. So those types of things are going to be huge. The other one, and I haven't seen a whole lot on this, but everybody here knows that I am a server right now at Texas Roadhouse. And when he talked about no tax on tips, I'm like, run, baby, run. Go ahead. You get that done. You get that done. For those of you guys who don't know, so anybody who is serving tables, who is waiting on you at a restaurant, how we make our money is tips. Tips, 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 right? We do not get paid minimum wage to be at your table. We are making our money solely on tips. So this is something that I really hope he does follow through with. And I know a lot of the folks that I work with are really excited about that. I don't know about all of them. Hopefully they would be. I know I work with some people who definitely are not excited about Trump being president, but hopefully they see that as a benefit, especially if he follows through. The other thing that I saw that was really cool is that he mentioned something to the effect of that he's ending all of the nonsense that Biden was going to do about electric cars. And then he started talking about promoting American-made vehicles and how they were going to get that done. Now, I don't know how this is going to tie into all of the AI stuff that's going on, which we'll get into later. But let's just say it doesn't. Let's just say that it actually is about promoting American jobs and, bringing work back into the country and stuff like that, especially with just all of those elements that could be involved there. That's a huge thing for a lot of people. I was very excited to see him talking about that as well. Again, there's a lot of things economically for me that, strictly focusing on just the economic policies alone. Who doesn't want to live in a nation that's prosperous? Who doesn't want to live in a nation where it's easier to make ends meet, right? Who doesn't want to live in a nation that, you actually can put money back in your savings account and it'll still be there the next month because you're not having to tap into it. I know for us, these are huge things that we are very much looking forward to in the short term. Now, let's talk about some of the other things that actually probably tie into. I could have went into this talking about the World Health Organization, but he did also remove us from the Paris Climate Treaty. Yay! Like, let's get away from the false narrative that's going around about that. I was very excited to see that. And then, of course, the border. I know a lot of us have been just absolutely frustrated to no end to see the amount of immigrants illegally crossing the border, being bused, shipped, plane, however they can get them here, dumping them in cities, and nobody knows where these people are or what these people are doing. And, as far as him saying, hey, that's stopping today and getting an executive order done, it was really cool to see that. Now, again, we don't have on any other hats other than our American hat right now, right? Our hat that says, I'm just a red-blooded American, wanting to see American values come back, wanting to see the nation prosperous, wanting to see closed borders. Like, we're looking at it from that lens alone. Doesn't matter what we think about how that happened and all of that, right? We're just talking about strictly these parts of it alone. If I don't have on any other hats or knowledge about what I know, these things are very, very good, and they're very exciting for us as Americans. And then the other thing was the cartels, of course, being considered domestic terrorists. It's great. We need to see some of this stuff. Like this stuff is tearing apart our infrastructure. It's tearing apart our country. So these things are really cool. And then the other one that I was really excited to see, and again, this is coming from just biology alone. This actually has nothing to do with my Christian values whatsoever, but the fact that he's just talking about their two genders. There are. That's it. Male, female. I'm super excited to see that. I really have not liked seeing the war on children and all of this nonsense that has gone on and that is just amplified and then some, especially over the last 4 years in this arena. So I was very excited to see that. I mean, common sense should still be common. Biology should still be biology. And I was very excited to see that. So these are all things for me. If I was just looking at everything from a political lens alone, a lens of just a conservative lens, an American lens, hey, I just want to do more than just barely get by lens. These are things that we're very excited about as Americans, and we see these things coming down from the Trump administration in the short term being very, very awesome. There's probably more here, but again, I don't want to make this video forever and a day, but I wanted to kind of talk about the things that we're seeing and that honestly help us. And like I said, as small business owners, I mean, my goodness, if we can see just anything economically that kind of makes it easier for us to exist as a business and to get things done, I think those are going to be major wins for anybody else that's also in the small business realm as well. So that's what I have on the pros list. Like I said, this is not an exhaustive list. There's probably more here on the short term. And again, like I said, if we're looking at Trump alone as just a political figure and we're looking at it from the lenses that we've kind of talked about, then these are all good things. And I hope he follows through on a lot of this stuff. So with that said, let's talk about some of the things that do have my concern meters going, right? My dashboard lights blinking for me on some things that he's doing. And this requires me to put back on, of course, my eschatology hat, my theology hat, and my tinfoil hat, of course, to talk about some of the things that are concerning for me about this incoming administration. So the first thing, let's just get this out of the way. There's still a whole lot going on. I really don't know how any of this is going to pan out, but even before he was inaugurated, there's all this talk about a two-state solution coming out of Israel. That is going to be a gigantic failure on his behalf if he goes that direction, because again, as a Bible-believing Christian, when you turn your back on Israel, it's not going to be good for us, right? The Bible is so clear that the Lord said he will bless those who bless Israel, he will curse those who curse Israel. And it doesn't matter, by the way, for those who are going to come and just at me in the comments, doesn't matter what Rothschild, what Rockefeller, what person was involved in the creation of Israel. Israel was prophesied in the Bible to come back to life in a day, and all the things that have happened, and Israel is important to the Lord. He is the chosen, or Israel is the chosen nation. It does not matter who the evil people behind the government and all those things are that are involved. We're simply talking about the land that belongs to the descendants of Abraham, of Isaac, and Jacob. End of story. So we'll leave that where it is because there's a pin in it because we really don't know what all is going to come out of that, but that's where that was. Now let's talk about one that is really on my heart here. And I was talking about this a few weeks even before the inauguration just because it's coming up a lot. But it's the fact that Trump has been very outspoken about he wants to pick up Greenland. I don't know if anybody saw the clip that came out. I think it was yesterday. I don't know who it was from Greenland. I just saw a very quick clip, whether it was a spokesperson or whoever. But anyway, he was not very kind to President Trump about wanting to pick up Greenland. So I don't know how that's going to go. But he is wanting to pick up Greenland. He's wanting to pick up the Panama Canal. And then, of course, Canada, now that Trudeau is gone. So what everybody needs to realize, though, is that, by the way, the Panama Canal thing, that's a great thing. That's, we don't need China owning something else that actually is ours anyway. So we don't have to get off on that tangent. But that one I'm really okay with because that was ours anyway. So, but the other parts of this, talking about Greenland, talking about Canada, what everybody needs to get in their mind is that these are discussions around the term that you've heard me talk about a lot if you've been on this channel. And that term is regionalism. And I personally believe that we have to get to a place where we see regional governments, right? Like almost like a North American Union. If you go back into like the Club of Rome and some of these other entities, they have broken apart the world into 10 nations. Well, the Bible talks about that. The Bible talks about 10 kings. The Bible talks about how, there's going to be 10 kings. 3 of them are going to give their power away to the Antichrist. The Antichrist is going to rise out of them. So there's a whole lot there that we don't have time to dive into prophetically in this video. However, what you need to know is that for him to be looking at regionalism is nothing more than the gateway to globalism. And regionalism is the door that opens the door to globalism. That's the door that we'll be going through to get to a global state, a one world government, a one world religion, one world leader, all the one world things that they are wanting to do and talk about. So it's really important that you guys know that. So I will be paying close attention to how all of that pans out. I know he even talked about in his inauguration speech that they are going to go ahead and change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. It's not a joke. Like, he's wanting to do that. So there's just lots of different things there that to pay attention to. And again, I know a lot of people are just like, wow, make America great again. Let's take over everything. But again, it's really focusing on the fact that this is going to lead to regionalism. And that is a goal of the globalist regime that wants to take over. We have to go there in order to get to the global place. All right. Now, the other big one that I've also kind of been talking about since long before he was, even sworn in or anything, is the technocrats that are getting behind Donald Trump. It is very unnerving and makes me feel very uneasy that he's got people like Bill Gates in his corner now. Mark Zuckerberg has suddenly switched teams and has renounced censorship. And of course, that was something else that he was talking about, that they're going to, end censorship. Great. I would love that. That's the whole reason why our business suffered in the first place, is because we stood up in 2020 and got censored, shut down, and all the things. That's what started the demise, if you will, of our business. So yeah, that's great. But now it's a little bit weird to me that the very same person who was responsible for our business, falling apart due to us speaking the truth, is now on Team Trump and has somehow, he's just exchanged sides and changed cards. And that's just very weird to me. So I have a real issue with that. And then, of course, you have, everybody has heard me talk about Musk on this channel, Peter Thiel. I have a huge video I just did with Pete Garcia that we talked about all those things. But it really is disturbing to me that a lot of these technocrats are involved, and they are, I don't know. I mean, the how close they are, which we'll get into, of course, the tech investment with Project Stargate. That's the big thing that came out yesterday. But it's real unnerving. So here's what I want to show you, though. So on Inauguration Day, I was watching, I just decided to watch ABC News, and, I just pulled it up on YouTube and was watching this. Well, I was in a comment thread and a chat with several other, watchwomen, if you will, who are, paying attention to all of the events going on. And I didn't catch this part because I hadn't gotten YouTube queued up yet. So one of my friends sent me this video, but there was a statement made, and I want to show you this statement really quick that came from one of the commentators. So check this out.
This is sort of the new world order as far as American democracy right here. As you look at Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Elon Musk, Mary Bruce, has made it very clear that if you don't, get in line with what Donald Trump would like to do in certainly these first 100 days, but get in line, period, that he's willing to use, his money to go after you and to primary you.
I mean, oh snap. Did he just say what I think he did? Yes, he did. He said these guys, referring to Musk and Bezos, and obviously Zuckerberg was there. I saw him standing up there, referring to these guys as the New World Order. And that Elon has actually made direct statements that if we don't get in line with what Trump wants to do, He's willing to come after us with his own money. Now, that is very telling. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And obviously, this guy has, him and many others have a ridiculous amount of money, power, and pull. So I think you guys need to be paying attention to those statements. That, to me, like, I don't know if any other broadcast, again, I can't be everywhere at once, so I wasn't watching all of them, but that was the statement for the New World Order. Anytime I'm hearing that, my ears are perking up. And I definitely, as I have said in many, many videos, I think this is where it's headed. It couldn't get done through the dark side, so now they're going to have to bring in people that everybody is willing to fawn over in order to get what they want done, which is still Agenda 2030. It's still all the same things that they were gunning for. They're just not going to be able to do it with faces like Anthony Fauci or Klaus Schwab or Yuval Noah Harari. Those guys are still involved. They're going to have to be behind the scenes, while these guys, who everybody absolutely loves and adores and is rooting for, come into play. Well, hey, real quick announcement for you before you get back to the rest of the content you are watching. If you are somebody who is loving everything that I am doing on this channel, I have an ask of you today. Now, the first ask is something that every single person who is involved in this ministry and this community of people can do, and that is to pray. And I have some very specific things that I want you to be lifting up to the Lord. The first is simply that you would ask that the Lord would continue to help get this message of this channel out to those who need it. He is sending all kinds of people to this channel, and it is amazing. And I want to continue to thank him for his favor and just ask him to continue to bless this channel by getting the message out, since y'all all know that we have a very short amount of time to help get people to understand what is going on. And the second prayer would be that you guys would continue to thank the Lord for the ways that he is restoring the business that Lance and I have had. As most of you guys know, I have a job outside of the house because I had to get a job outside of what we've been business owners for so long, but I had to over this last year because we just were not making it. The problem is that now the Lord is impressing upon my heart to go full-time in this ministry, and I can't do that because it's still requiring my income in order for us to make it. So I am just going to ask you guys that you would continue to thank the Lord for restoration. He is doing some amazing things in that business, but until that business is making what it was before the economic downturn, I'm going to have to continue working, and that means my time is going to continue to be divided. I'm going to continue to be very limited on what I can do, and that's really frustrating for me because I have so many things that the Lord has put on my heart to get out to you guys, and not just videos and content, but downloads and things of that nature. And I can't do any of it right now. So if you could continue to just lift that up and thank the Lord for the restoration that he is doing, that would be so awesome. And the last thing is, if you are somebody who is considering partnering with a ministry, I would ask that you would prayerfully consider certainty for uncertain times. I think it's no secret to anybody that anybody who is a content creator on these platforms, we incur costs. And most of us don't have big, bad budgets, right, in our families to be able to do this stuff. And so it is through the help of people who are involved in our channel supporting us. And what I would simply say is that don't think that $5 or $10 can't go a long way. I have somebody who faithfully donates $10 a month to my channel, and she every single month, and she actually pays for nearly all of the costs that I incur each month just to be able to live stream. So if you are somebody who is prayerfully considering something like that, and you're looking for a place for that to go, and you love what I'm doing here, I would love it for it to be me. But make sure first that you are giving to your local church. That's where your 10th needs to go. But above and beyond that, if you're looking for another place to sow a seed, if you will, I would ask that you would consider this one. And thank you to everybody who has donated to this channel so far, and thank you to every single person who comments on videos, who likes videos, who shares videos, and who is involved in this community. You guys are the reason that it is growing the way that it is. And I'm super excited about what the Lord is going to do. All right, back to your video. So with that, let's talk about the next one, which is the big story that broke yesterday. And I actually didn't hear about it until close to bedtime last night. So I had to pull together a bunch of information, and I'm glad that I actually got to see this before I decided to film this video today. But a couple of days ago, I was on a live and I mentioned something about that Donald Trump wanted to invest $20 billion into data centers for AI. And that number moved up quite a bit. Well, now we're at $500 billion for data centers, and they have now launched a project called Project Stargate. This is insane what they are wanting to do with this. So first of all, Stargate, just so you guys know, that is an occult term. Stargate simply means portal. If you get into any of the occult writings or you read through anything that people have out there that talks about this stuff, that's what they always refer to when they're talking about portals or jumping into other dimensions, connecting with, other, I don't know if they call them entities or not, but realms. They call them realms. They talk about stargates. So that is a really interesting term. I don't think that is coincidence. I don't think that is not thought through. I think it is absolutely thought about, and it's meditated on something that they want to do. So I have something to read for you guys that is verbatim from a Telegram channel that I follow with Bubba News. A lot of you guys who follow my channel, you probably follow Bubba on Telegram. If you don't, you need to. Bubba at some point will be on this channel. We just haven't been able to pin down dates yet, but let me read this to you guys. Trump is literally building the beast system right in front of our eyes. This is the Novus Ordo Seclorum, or the golden age that Trump is ushering in. Today, Trump announced the brand new Stargate project, an ambitious initiative set to rapidly expand super AI infrastructure in the U.S. The race to achieve AGI, or ASI, is accelerating faster than ever. Artificial superintelligence, that's ASI, is a hypothetical software-based artificial intelligence, AI, system with an intellectual scope beyond human intelligence. This super intelligent AI has cutting-edge cognitive functions and highly developed thinking skills, more advanced than any human on Earth. Trump says Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of advancements in AI, including colossal data centers. What do they need with all those data centers? The launch alone will require 5 gigawatts, 5G, of energy generated by 5 nuclear power plants. Let me read that again. The launch alone will require 5 gigawatts of energy generated by 5 nuclear power plants. This will use 6G technology that will merge man with machine via the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. So that's IOBNT. If you've seen that acronym, that's what it means. This is the transhumanism agenda to merge human brains with the cloud. There's a reason why billionaires like Elon Musk, who's involved with Tesla, Bill Gates is now back involved with Trump. Don't like that at all. Microsoft. Larry Ellison from Oracle and Sam Altman from OpenAI ChatGPT are joining forces with Trump to bring this agenda forth. They are trying to sell us this golden age utopia, but in reality, it will be a dystopian world controlled by the Antichrist using AI through surveillance for complete control. And that's where all of this is going. AI will become the image of the beast that the false prophet gives life into. Individuals will worship AI as their own god. A practical genie in your pocket, or with the mark of the beast, a genie in your brain, merging people with this artificial intelligence. And here's what Musk said, and I watched this quote, by the way. The merge scenario with AI is the one that seems like probably the best. Like, if you can't beat it, join it. This right here should not surprise anybody who has eyes to see and ears to hear about where we're going with merging man and machine. Trump is bringing about the fourth industrial revolution, or some of us have called it the Fourth Reich. Even the name Stargate is the idea of a portal into another realm somewhere else. And with AI, I, Bubba News, see it as a demonic technology magic connecting to the other realm, allowing the fallen angels, the Nephilim, etc. to use this technology as a conduit to connect to the other realm. Everything that Trump is doing might look good on the surface, but it is setting the trap. Trump and others are setting the bait and waiting for people to take the bite. Hook, line, and sinker. The last thing here says this: the Stargate portal into the Antichrist system is here. Keep your eyes focused on the Lord Jesus Christ and pray for discernment. We are going to need discernment in 2025 like never before in history, quite literally. Maranatha. And then he links a video explaining more on this, which is from none other than Matt. You guys know Matt. He's on this channel every single month, and he'll be back on February 5th. But I will link that video down below if you want to watch a really good breakdown of this whole Operation Stargate, or Project Stargate, I should say. Now, the other thing that I find very interesting about this technology, and I'm going to show you another clip, is this whole, I believe it was Larry Olson, who was talking about the cancer element of this. And so it's kind of starting to make sense to me now why Trump hasn't backed down from Operation Warp Speed, why he's never come out and said he's against it, why he still claims to be the father of the wacky tacky. He's really proud of it. He doesn't want to acknowledge all of the damage that it's done. Well, now they're going to have this technology, which is they're using the big C word, cancer, in order for this to be a huge benefit to society. So it's all the Hegelian dialectic playing out in real time. In other words, they all know that the wacky tacky has caused a whole lot of problems. And the big C word is one of those problems that it absolutely has caused. And now they have a solution for it. So why don't you check out this video real quick?
All of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
So that's pretty telling. And I know I said Larry previously, Ellison, sorry about that, but that's pretty telling. Now, there's a million and one reasons why this is disturbing to me, but the one main one that I want to point out right now is simply this. I don't think I need to go into all the reasons on why this whole situation is crazy. I think a lot of people are already talking about that, but the main thing that I was thinking about was simply this. How many of you who didn't take the wacky tacky have somebody in your life who is a friend, a relative, a sister, a brother, a mother, a father, a whatever, that went ahead and took the wacky tacky, an aunt, an uncle, whatever. They took the wacky tacky because they trusted the guy who really promoted Operation Warp Speed and promoted its safety and promoted that it was effective and promoted all of these things that were promoted. I've got people in my life that did that. And the big thing that concerns me here is that they're using that trigger word that it gets everybody up in an uproar, because everybody knows somebody that has fought cancer. My own brother has fought it and beat it. But these things are concerning to me because I can see the same people falling for this, doing pre-screening, doing all of this. And we all know, like, they diagnose things all the time, get you on medications and do all this stuff. And then you just have a plethora more of problems because now you're on big pharma drugs. Well, we've got a whole other slew of problems that this is going to cause. And just the fact that you can create a solution to your cancer problem in 48 hours that's specifically for you because it goes in and looks at your genes. Guys, don't think for a second that any of that should be trustworthy. And this is really concerning to me that this is what is being talked about. And so again, I have to ask the question, how are people going to say that this is something that they're on board with or that they support? Are you going to put your head in the sand again on something like this? Because I can't reconcile this particular thing, and especially seeing this come out. And it's just mind-blowing to me that they know that no person on this earth wants to hear that they have a diagnosis of the C word somehow. And people will flock to that like a moth to a flame in order to make sure that they don't somehow die of cancer. And yet this technology, mRNA, all of this gene editing, all of this stuff is going to cause a whole lot more problems and really does lead into the many things that you've heard me talk about on this channel in regards to Revelation 13 and the mark of the beast and all of that stuff. So this to me is wild. Now the other thing that I want to show you here is this picture. So check this out. So this is a quote from the SoftBank CEO and President Trump when they announced the $500 billion Stargate project for the AI infrastructure. And this is what he said, that AGI is coming very, very soon and super intelligence is the goal. It in what will be the beginning of a golden age for America. So you've been hearing me talk a whole lot about this coming golden age and what they're wanting to do. You've heard me talk a lot about the occult and how all this stuff ties together. Every bit of it pieces together. Every bit of it goes back to all of this stuff that people like Alice Bailey have gotten messages and visions from, and all of this from demonic sources. I totally believe that she heard all those things. I totally believe that she wrote those things down from demonic sources. And now you're seeing it play out in real time. You're seeing the things that they're talking about. So this is the golden age that they're wanting to go to. And frankly, I feel like this should be very disturbing to everyone. So this is why I had to preface the video the way that I did. I'm talking about some things that, as just an American, you can see that there's some short-term things that could give us a lot of relief, that could really help a lot of us get back on our feet who have truly been sitting on the freaking ground or in a trench for the last 4 years. But ultimately, this is where this is all going. It's not stopping, it's not slowing down, it's picking up warp speed. And that's what we're going to see. So I will continue to stay on the pulse of all of this stuff as we see it all unfold. But I highly recommend that all of you do one thing. And that's simply this. First of all, if you are not a believer in Jesus Christ, you need to do that now. And I have a video that will show up at the end of this video. And of course, it's linked down in the description box so you can learn a little bit more about what's at stake for you eternally. And for the rest of us who are Christians, who have already we are just sold out for the Lord, we need to be in our word. We need to be praying for discernment. We really need to be in the know on what is going on so that we can help other people not get duped by what is happening and by all of the things that are being paraded about that are exciting and that are good and that are this and that are that are actually distracting from where this is ultimately headed. And well, I think that'll be just a nice little introduction to my opinion on how things are going and where I think that they are all headed. And let me just say this, if you are not already subscribed to this channel, definitely do that now. And I also have a newsletter, by the way, that you can become a part of, certaintyforuncertaintimes.com/newsletter. It's also linked down in the description box. And I have a little PDF for you when you join the C4UT family. But if you want to know about all the things coming out, I share news articles, links, all kinds of different things to that crew of people who are on that email list. It's kind of like the first thing I go to when I can't get stuff out here on YouTube or whatnot. So definitely go check that out. And with that said, you guys know I'll be keeping my finger on the pulse of everything that's going on and probably going to have a lot more conversations around this stuff. I really do hate getting into the political space. I loathe it. I want nothing to do with politics anymore. But unfortunately, it seems like a lot of this stuff that we're seeing, it is obviously coming from world governments and all the realms around our world that are coming together to form the very beast system that many of us have been just railing about and against for sure since 2020. Many people have been talking about the end times for a very long time, but a lot of us have seen it really come into play since 2020. So with that said, I think we'll go ahead and make this video a wrap. And until next time, keep your eyes on the sky and keep your ears listening for that shofar. I'll see you in the next one. Maranatha.